Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of What's Growing. Today we are going to talk to someone who's driving social change through e-commerce. So let us meet Rohit Bagaria. Hi Rohit, thank you so much for joining us. Really excited to have you here. So let us get started. Tell me something about your startup.
Thank you, Maya. Thanks for inviting me. So my startup Badli is into e-commerce of used gadgets. Badli, as you know, means change in Hindi. And we are a for-profit social and environmental impact company, which is working on bridging the digital divide and reducing e-waste.
That's so cool. So how did you come up with this idea?
So it started with a personal pain point of what do I do with my used phone. So I'm personally passionate about gadgets. I like using the latest gadgets, and I was wondering what do I do with my used phone. And I found this as an unsolved problem. That led me to do some market research and understand the needs and gaps in the market and the enormous potential to fulfill it. So when I was in the US, I was using refurbished devices. But somehow in India, I didn't see that option, which I felt was very surprising. I was getting something in good condition from a trusted source with the assurance of a warranty. And considering that India is such a value and price sensitive market, I was very surprised that that option wasn't available. So I found this as an unsolved problem and a huge opportunity to really scale up and create impact. Further, after doing a market research, and I found that millions of people don't have access to technology. Today, as you know, people access education, healthcare, financial services, everything through a smartphone. Over 600 million people in India still don't have access to smartphones. They're still on feature phones. People keep changing their devices every 1 or 2 years, and most of them are just lying around in a drawer somewhere losing value, which ends up becoming e-waste. And they don't know what to do with their used devices. So on one hand, there is this huge untapped supply of devices, and on the other hand, there is a huge unmet demand for gadgets in good working condition from a trusted source with the assurance of a warranty. So that's the opportunity that I saw, and that's what made me start Badli.
So where does your maximum audience come from? Does it come from tier 1 city, or do you see traction from tier 2 and 3 cities as well?
So we are a pan-India company, and we cover all metros as well as tier 2, 3, 4 locations. So presently we cover 25,000 pin codes across India. But the biggest demand for refurbished devices are in tier 2, 3, 4 locations, where people are very price sensitive and they're looking at changing their phones. A lot of them are feature phones users moving to smartphones for the first time.
And how has the adoption grown over the years? I mean, I think your company is like 8 years old or something.
So the company was formed in 2015, and we've seen this market really evolve over the last few years. So initially, most people in India are not even familiar with the word refurbished. And the entire second-hand industry, the secondary market, was unorganized. And it's still primarily unorganized, where all these problems of stolen devices, fake devices, no quality assurance, all these issues were there. Now people are gradually much more open and accepting of buying used devices from a trusted source with warranty. Also, the growth of e-commerce has helped a lot in terms of logistics, in terms of market penetration. People are much more comfortable buying and selling online. And one huge catalyst has been post-COVID last year. Now, as you know that post-COVID, our lifestyle has changed a lot, with millions of people having to work from home. Need for devices have gone up exponentially. Also, underprivileged children need devices now to continue their education. And we saw a huge need for underprivileged children who don't have access to devices. And that problem was massive, and it still is in India. And so we started a program called Device to Dream, where we partnered with various NGOs across India who help create awareness to get people to donate devices. So anyone, anywhere in India who has a used device can go to our website and submit a form. We will arrange the collection free of cost from their location. We will refurbish it and provide it to these NGOs. And again, this is a not-for-profit initiative of our company.
Bravo, that's really great. I mean, to hear that. So, what are the challenges that you normally face in this endeavor of yours?
So, logistics has been a challenge, and it's much better than when we started off with the growth of e-commerce, and the penetration of logistics is much better than what it was. Still, there's still things that need to improve, but that has been a challenge as we were growing, and also creating awareness has been a big challenge. People associate use devices and have a trust deficit with them. So building that has been very, very important.
And this brings me to another point. Like, say, for example, if I have to, sell my used device, why would I want to choose your Buddy and not any other OLX or other platform?
Okay, so classified ad sites, they have a place, but there's still a lot of challenges in a country like India. Like you could list a product on a classified ad site, but you're not sure when your product would get sold, at what price, the genuinity of the person, you have to attend multiple calls. You don't know, somebody will say that they will turn up and not turn up. And there are all kinds of people and scams happening. So that quality assurance has been a big issue. The insight that we have from operating in this space, primarily what people are looking for are three things. One, value for money. Obviously, you want a value for money for your used device. Second, you want reliability. That is very, very important. And third is convenience. So our endeavor has been to provide the best mix of all these three to our buyers and sellers.
Okay, got it. So if I have to ask you what your 1 year target is going to look like, what will it be?
So we are a pan-India company, and we work both online and offline. And our focus has been on growing both online and offline. And we already have thousands of offline retailers who we are selling it through. And we are focusing on growing that, increasing our presence in multiple tier 2, 3, 4 locations across India, as well as our online presence.
Got it. Now, tell me something about your team. How big is your team?
We are a small team, and it has changed a lot over the last few years. Post-COVID also, there have been a few changes that has happened. And I think I have been blessed to have worked with some really incredible people along the way.
So what is, if I may ask, like when you are selecting a candidate and your company is in a very early stage, what are the traits that you look for in a candidate?
So I think for me, the most important trait that I look for is commitment. I think nothing can really substitute that. People might have more qualifications and might be more skilled, but that commitment, initiative, motivation as to why they're doing what they're doing, I think that is very, very important.
And how do you ensure that people are motivated to work on the product?
I think the purpose is very, very important. Why we're doing what we're doing. Like I mentioned that we are a for-profit company, but for us money is a means goal. The end goal is to create impact. And it's about creating social and environmental impact. I think the vision of the company is how we can actually impact the lives of millions of people by giving them access to technology, affordable technology, which they don't have today, by enriching their lives, as well as reducing e-waste. Currently, hundreds of tons of e-waste we have been able to reduce because of our efforts over the last few years. And we're looking at growing that.
Did you ever think of having a co-founder? Because I believe you run your company single-handedly, right?
So 3 of us started up, I, me and myself. And it would have been good to have a co-founder, but I didn't have that same level of, I didn't find someone suitable for this when I started up. So yeah, it is what it is.
So what are the check boxes that a potential co-founder has to tick mark if he has to work with you?
I think, like I said, the most important thing is commitment, motivation, and the purpose. Why one does what they're doing. A lot of people just do things and especially when we started off, that was like the startup boom period. where it was like get rich quick, like do a startup, get funded, and increase the valuation and exit. But yeah, life doesn't always work like that, and I'm sure maybe some people have benefited, but I don't really think businesses are built that way.
So I think you have around 20 plus years of experience in different sectors.
Yes.
What drives you towards entrepreneurship?
So I think that is something ingrained in me. Entrepreneurship, I think for me, entrepreneurship is primarily about problem solving. And what drives me is creating impact. Ultimately, that is the way I look at myself, that I am here on this planet with some abilities. Ultimately, how do I utilize those abilities to the best of my ability to create impact of those around me and in my community, my society.
What has been your learning so far that you may want to share with others?
Well, it's difficult for me to pinpoint one learning, but I think persistence has been very, very important. Grit, overcoming difficult times, resilience, courage, not giving up, fearlessness. I think these qualities, I think, are very important over a period of time, because I think every business goes through ups and downs, and ultimately, how do you overcome those difficult times? And actually, a lot of times, those difficult times help us learn a lot, and we can really utilize those to really pivot and make those difficulties, challenges, empower us.
Who do you look up to for inspiration?
So there have been people I have met who I found quite inspiring along the way, and I do like to read. And there have been some people whose lives I found very inspirational. I was fortunate enough to have met someone I found very inspirational, who is no more, and that is Mother Teresa.
Oh, you have met Mother Teresa?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that experience.
Oh, that was when I was very young. So I grew up in Calcutta, and my father had taken me to meet her. I didn't really know that much about her at that time, but yeah, that was a very memorable experience.
So you met her, and what did you tell her? Like, and what did she tell you? So curious to know. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was very young, and it was quite hazy now in my memory. I just felt like she was very kind and gentle. Yeah.
And seeing her, you felt like the selfless work that she does probably is something that you would want to do in your life as well.
Yes. Also, I was not that aware of her work maybe at that period of time in my life, like since I was quite young. But as how people actually dedicate their lives to serving others, that selflessness, yeah, that's very inspiring and motivating.
So you talked about reading. Any other things you like other than entrepreneurship and reading? What are your hobbies otherwise?
So I'm passionate about travel and technology, and I'm lucky enough to be doing something that I'm very passionate about as well. And like I mentioned, that I enjoy gadgets, so I get to spend time with gadgets in my line of work as well. That is something I enjoy doing. And apart from that, so I enjoy reading mainly non-fiction.
What are you reading currently?
So I usually like reading biographies. I like reading history, personal growth, business, startups, technology, and philosophy and spirituality as well. I'm reading a book called Homo Deus, which is a sequel to Sapiens by Yuval Harari.
Yes, that's my next book that I have to pick up. I'm currently reading Promised Land, so after that, that is what I think I'll be picking up.
Okay.
So finally, what is your next big goal? It could be personal or professional that you are looking to fulfill in near future.
So when I had started off, I had set a goal for myself. I think from where we started off and where we are now, I think we have come a long way. But in terms of where we want to be, I think there still is a long way to go. So I think we still have a lot of work to do to be able to accomplish that goal. So I'm still on that journey, and I am still learning in that journey. It's helping me evolve and grow as well as a person. Um, yeah, it's just about creating impact.
I think I'm done with my questions, but it was really great talking to you. Seriously, I mean, when you talk about Mother Teresa, I was like, whoa, this is probably the first person I've met in my life who has met Mother Teresa. So I wish you all the very best in your endeavor, and I hope that we catch up very soon.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank
It was
you
lovely
so
speaking
much
to you.
for joining. Yeah, thank you.